Welcome back to Tracy Finance 101, and today I want to talk about the essentials of investing. This is going to make you a long-term investor if you follow these tips. Number one, when we are investing, we do not act on our emotions. We use our head. So we kind of leave the emotions at the door because we don't want to act with fear, out of fear. We want to act on facts. Number two, stocks are more than those little ticker taper things that we see at the bottom of the screen. They're actually companies, and we are actually part owners if we decide to purchase some shares in that company. So we have to do a thorough job in doing our investigation and research into that company. We need to know how much revenue the company has, how much debt it has, the competitors, and how far in the future do you see this company thriving. We have to do a lot of investigation. And sometimes it doesn't hurt to ask a financial advisor about it. Even if you're going in for your retirement tune-up, if you got a 403b at work, you can ask the person who does your 403bs, your 401ks, hey, what do you think about the stats on this? Or you can actually Google and, start to learn and educate yourself about stocks. The number 3 things you need to do is plan ahead. Plan ahead. When are you going to get rid of the stock? What are the reasons why? Just like a prenup. When will I get rid of you? Okay? Or when I'm going to keep you. Write it all down so you do not act out of emotions. Just journal it down and you live by those principles. And build up gradually. This is how you're going to be a long-term player. You're going to look at yourself and pat yourself on the shoulders because you are a big ball and shy collar because you're going to have a lot of stocks. If you do some dollar cost averaging, that just means that you're going to keep buying the same dollar amount every month. Dollar cost averaging sounds so smart. But anyway, my lovelies, you just have to buy, in increments. If it's not every month, say, hey, when I get my refund, I'm going to buy $1,000 here. Or every 3 months, every week. Whatever it may be, stick to it. And another thing, the last thing is avoid overactivity. Too much. That's why I stress, have a period where you're going to either repurchase some stocks, you have something written down where you're going to sell. It's that journaling you're going to do. There's no overactivity where you're just jumping around. You can't make a real profit that way if you're always jumping just because you see some little dips in the stock market. Well, guess what? All stocks dip. Pretty much all of them. So you have to put on your seatbelt and just take a deep breath. But if you have picked a solid company, if you did your research, then it should be doing fine. Some people like a lot of growth, and if you want a lot of growth, then you're going to have to pick a stock that has a tendency to grow. If they're too big, they tend to go, they don't tend to grow as much because they're already a big fish. But all that requires research to know what growth potential, what your tolerance is. That's another thing you need to look at. What can I tolerate? Can I tolerate a volatile stock? Or a more conservative, and I'm good with 5% growth a year? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. This is essential to investments, my lovelies. If you follow all these steps, you'll be okay. Okay. Because you're going to have a bailout plan because you've written it out in your journal. And you're going to have a thing where, when am I going to buy more shares? If it's doing great, when I'm going to buy more shares? Personally, I buy it every month. You may be different. That's something you need to sit down and think about. But we do not act out on emotions because that is most likely fear. And even if it's excitement, it may just be hype. All right, my lovelies. I wish you love, peace, and financial gain. And I'll check y'all out on the flip side.